Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you on this April 1st, 2025. It's April Fool's Day, but I got no pranks for you. The stories I'm about to share with you are 100% factual, as far as I can tell. And we have good news. A Full House star is now cancer-free. Dave Coulier announces he no longer has cancer. We're going to get into that. Also, Sydney Sweeney now single, so says a few sources. And we'll get into some talk on Justin Baldoni, as there is a new article that has come out based on a documentary I have yet to watch, although it dropped last night, that says it looks like Blake Lively may have the upper hand, according to a lawyer. We'll share what other lawyers are saying, as it's really a he said, she said, media free for all. So stick around for that. Also, astronauts stuck in space now share space tea, what it was like to be stranded when they were only supposed to be up there for about a week. And Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay goes off on her ex in this very raw, what was supposed to be off-camera moment, although it looks like they were cool sharing it. I'm going to share exactly what was said. It's pretty jaw-dropping stuff, if you ask me. A lot of tea for your Tuesday, and that's not even half of it. We've also got tea coming out of Wisconsin as the Supreme Court race is heating up, and we've got some people just bashing each other. So whether it's politics or pop culture, it's all mayhem all morning. We got these stories and more all happening right now on The Rush. Well, let's start the morning off with some good news, because if you're from my generation as an elder millennial, we didn't have influencers. We had the uncles from Full House, Bob Saget, we had John Stamos, and we had Dave Coulier. And that's who raised us. That's really all it was. Well, we've already lost Bob Saget, and I'll be damned if I'm going to lose another uncle right now. Dave Coulier announces he's cancer-free. He beat cancer. This fall, he talks about having stage 3 cancer, stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and he completed, I think, six chemotherapy treatments. Lost his hair, but he's thriving and he's on the mend here, featured with one of his co-stars, Candace Cameron Bure. Either way, very happy news from the Full House family. Well, in other not-so-happy news, Sydney Sweeney, well, I guess it's happy, depending on how you look at it. I guess she is separated from her fiancé since January. Now, we already knew this. We've been reporting on it all week. She travels on a safari by herself. She's hanging out with her ladies, going to weddings without her man. So clearly, she's been living at like the Beverly Hills, Hilton, or one of those hotels. Either way, her and Jonathan Davino have been living separate lives for a few months, TMZ has learned. A source familiar with the situation says Sydney and Jonathan are not together. And again, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I feel bad. I mean, what can you do? It didn't work out. And she's probably one of the number one celebrity single people now. Of course, she's, blown up from Euphoria, and she's in rom-coms, and she's got the world in front of her. So enjoy that single time. All right. Well, over the weekend, we saw SNL. Morgan Wallen walked off the set, which led to a lot of controversy. That moment where they're all supposed to be hugging and kissing as the credits roll. And of course, there's this idea, like, is it a culture war issue? He's from the country. Was he not accepted by the Big Apple? Well, Kenan Thompson went on the Good Day New York to share his thoughts. Have a listen.
Apparently, Morgan, pieced out during the goodbye.
He did?
Look, he just whispered in her ear. He's like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going back to God's country.
Yeah.
And he left, which, I guess that's okay.
Aren't we all in
Look at your face.
Aren't we all in God's country?
So, and then your face went viral because you kind of look like, wow, he just walked off the set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he understood the assignment. That's what that looks like.
See, look at
like,
did you catch that?
Echo's the one giving the side eye.
Yeah. So what's the backstory on this? He just didn't know?
I have no idea. I mean, I've been reading as much as you've been reading, so apparently I guess he didn't know to stay or something like that. But whatever, doesn't matter. It was a great show. Mikey did great,
Yeah, Mikey was so good, of course. The star from the movie Anora, right? She won, 5 Oscars, Best Picture. She's absolutely fantastic. She's my new favorite actor, and she crushed it. She's just a lovable person. Everything about her is great. She might be the antithesis of Morgan Wallen, to be quite honest. I couldn't imagine they couldn't be further apart. All right, well, speaking of being further apart, how about those astronauts? They were rescued after supposed to be in space for a week, really really, who was at fault for them being stuck up there so long? Now, again, I think at the very least we can blame the spaceship they came in on because it had flaws, so they had to leave them up there. Either way, let's have a listen to what they have to say. Butch Wilmore and Sweeney Williams.
Take me to the day when you find out you're going home.
I'm glad we have an answer.
Did you believe it, or did you think I'll believe it when I see it?
We were somewhat part of the process, and having a definitive time, you can start actually. Again, we didn't make plans. I kept telling my family, I'm not back until I'm back. This is the nature of the business we do.
Oh, could you imagine your wife, honey? When are you coming home? I'm stuck in space. I don't know. You know what I mean? Golly. He's got a large chore list waiting for him.
We've had changes in the past. We may have changes now, but it was certainly a great feeling when you have a date and you're marching towards a date. Yeah.
It was really nice, I'll just say, when Crew 9 arrived. It was like, okay, we have seats, we have suits.
What I saw was a moment of elation. It was like a spring or a summer day when somebody threw open the window or the door and that warm air came running through and you all were smiling from ear to ear.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. Remember that day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
By the way, you want to hear something crazy? You know, I've been covering this story for like 8 months now, right? If you know the channel, you know we've been covering this. I'm driving down the road. I moved to Tennessee last year, right? I don't know the area. I'm just one of those Californians that moves in and people's home prices go up, right? Oh, so sue me, right? So either way, I'm driving. I'm stopped at a stop sign. I look to my left and it said, I'm not going to say the town, but it said, home of Butch Wilmore, NASA astronaut. I didn't realize this whole time I've been covering this guy, he's from one of the towns I live in right now. So Butch, if you're out there and you want to do an interview, come on by the studio. I won't keep you for 9 months. I'll just have you in and out within an hour.
Huge hugs to Nick and Alex as they came across the hatch. And then it was sort of like getting everybody involved there, like, okay, welcome. And I was sort of like, I want to go in the spaceship and see the seats. I want to see our suits and see our seats. And this is the spaceship that we're going to come home in.
And plus looking forward, not just to the fact that we're coming home, we're looking forward to sharing this experience with you over the next X number of months. We didn't know at the time what that was going to be.
What would you like to say to President Trump and Elon Musk?
I respect you. I trust you. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. What they say, I can't say what they say. I haven't lived that. But I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust.
What did they do to get them home? I don't understand. Did Trump send his private spaceship up there for him? I don't get it. But hey, sure, they made it back alive. I guess that's good.
And for that, I am grateful that our national leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance, and they take an active role. And based on the past and what we see now, with them doing that, it's refreshing. Not just refreshing, it's empowering. It's strengthening for our nation. I think it's a good thing for our nation when the national leaders, especially something that has high visibility, are involved in the process.
I get annoyed when people aren't specific. Like, what specifically are you talking about? That is it that they were able to rescue you, or is there certain funding that's going to the space exploration that you're happy about? Either way, Sweeney Williams, very quiet there. Is that her name, Sweeney Williams? I got to tell you. I mean, the fact that they're even sitting next to each other after spending 9 months together, I mean, if one fart goes off in that spaceship, it's all done. You know what I mean? And they had to, imagine, you ever been stuck late for one afternoon with a coworker? How brutal that is. They can't even go home to their spouses to talk trash about each other. God bless them. They must be really great humans for making it out of that thing alive. All right, well, there's your update. I guess we're done talking about the stranded astronauts. They've made it back. I'm here advocating for them. Apparently they don't get overtime. What can you do? Just me over here trying to give your workers rights, but no overtime for getting stuck in outer space. I guess they were asking for it, right? All right, well, I've got your Blake Lively update. I'm going to read the article that says, hey, maybe she's about to win this thing. We'll see what lawyers have to say. That coming next. Okay, when I said there was a lot of tea to get into, I really meant it. So before we get to the Blake Lively stuff, here's Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay. So of course, she just finished her lawsuit, settling her divorce with Brian Abasolo. He was awarded alimony based on their shared income. She made a lot more than him, so she's got to pay him money. TK Kirkland is on their podcast, which I think comes out this morning. And here's the clip where they're hugging. And I guess it was supposed to be off camera, but they decided to share it. Rachel Lindsay said, yeah, I'm going to stay single. If they don't take from you, they root for the ones that did. Here is the clip. Have a listen to this.
You got a kid?
No, well, my exes might as well be my child. I pay alimony.
You got caught up, huh? So he got you.
Yeah.
He got you.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to be happy or...
I mean, happy because I got out of it.
No, happy for...
I'm
See,
so glad you didn't say that on
Shit,
the podcast.
he came up on $500,000.
Yeah, I'm happy for the...
Van said he came up on $500,000. So I guess that's the amount of money she's paying him throughout the, year or so that she has to pay him.
Why?
Because it's good sometimes for the man to win. See,
Why?
But you see what
When
I'm
he's
saying?
when he's an adult, older than me, fully capable of working, a licensed professional, but used the system to come up, took advantage of me. You okay with that?
No, just because it's you personally, no. But watch what I'm about to tell you.
Tell me.
Women been doing it to men since the beginning of time.
Doesn't make it right.
Oh,
geez. So he says since women have been taking advantage of men, it's okay for him to take advantage of her. Now, in Brian's defense, and what the judge ruled is that they made money as a married couple. She made more than him, so he's entitled to half of the money that they made when they were married. Those are the rules. He argues, Brian, that he moved for her career multiple times and it did damage to his business because he's a brick and mortar chiropractor. So that's how it is. Don't get mad at me. That's how the judge agreed on however much she owes him. And she's allowed, by the way, he's allowed to get that money through the judicial system to, take that to court. And she's allowed to blast him. So if she wants to take this energy, I love it. Go for it, And, but either way, the thing that we don't know on a personal level is that whatever proof that Brian has that he sort of, sacrifice his career for her. She may argue, well, he just didn't make that much money. But the truth is, she made a windfall of money after being the Bachelorette. She got opportunities that he probably didn't get as the lead of the show. And she came out on top of that. And she says, well, he's able-bodied and capable and this and that. But hey, them's the ropes. That's the way the world works. I actually prefer that it works the way it does because I would rather someone take advantage of the system 1 out of 10 times and know that 9 out of 10 times it's fair. Because in most cases, you might have a woman who is married to a man and maybe she moves things around for his career and he does well off. And then when their marriage is over, she kind of made sacrifices on behalf of like their relationship. And isn't she entitled to half of the earnings? It's almost like if you have a business together. You both become 50-50 unless there's some sort of prenuptial agreement. Those are the rules, regardless of whichever gender is in that legally binding, marriage. All right, well, that's it. I have to say that because I feel like no matter what I say, someone's going to get mad at me. But, the judge gave him a, what was it, 60, whatever it was, 15,000 or whatever, 50, I don't remember, 15,000 a month or so, because she makes 60,000 a month. And that was the sort of amount they made throughout the time they were together. Whatever the number is, we already covered it. But like I said, I would love to see Rachel talk about this more and maybe with due time. All right, so let's get into it. Blake Lively has the stronger case. Lawyer explains potential flaw in Justin Baldoni's argument. New documentary came out last night. I haven't watched it. I will be watching it by the afternoon rush. Justin Baldoni's lawyers have said Blake's claims will be swiftly debunked as discovery moves forward, easily disproved with actual evidentiary proof. Now, of course, both sides are saying they're going to win this thing. But one legal expert featured in the new documentary that's on HBO Max, it's called In Dispute, Lively vs. Baldoni. It aired last night, streaming on Max, breaks down the It Ends With the Stars legal battle. And by the way, I was asked if I would be on this documentary when I was in Los Angeles. They were literally like, we'll fly you either here or New York to do it. And then they ghosted on me, not to make this about me, but they told me it was going to be a quick turnaround. They shot this thing and edited it within 2 weeks. This is the type of thing, when you're one of these streaming services, you got to capitalize on this content and get these sort of get the information out there before it settles. Really, it could settle any day, or it could go to trial. Well, attorney Dina Dahl says near the end of the documentary, my professional opinion, Blake Lively has the stronger case because all of Justin Baldoni's arguments about fame and control don't really refute her claim of sexual harassment. Those allegations, the improvising of kissing, the describing his genitalia, talking about pornography, regardless of where your workplace is, those seem to be pretty strong basis for a claim of sexual harassment. By the way, I don't know if she's been following it as closely as we are, so this might be infuriating to some because that talk about pornography wasn't that whatsoever. I mean, unless there's any proof of that, the only mention that we know of is the mention where he tries to show her a video of a water birth in preparation for a birthing scene. There might be other examples, but Blake Lively's going to have to bring that proof. If you make those accusations, you have to bring proof, right? So I don't know. It seems like the attorney Dina Dahl is seeing this from the complete opposite side that I am, but what do I know? I'm not like a licensed professional here. While talking about the versions of events laid forth in Lively's lawsuit and Baldoni's countersuit elsewhere in dispute, Dahl says Baldoni's argument isn't really that those items didn't happen. It's just saying that there's a different perspective, that they were really more consensual. Both sides absolutely want to get their perspective out. So we know all that, but again, I'll watch the documentary. I'll tell you if it's a waste of time or not. But either way, here is a response that we have from an attorney, TikTok. Her name is Little Girl Attorney on TikTok. Have a listen.
You guys, this headline is wild. Let's talk about it. So People magazine just did this article earlier today about a new documentary that's coming out on Max that is apparently about this case. It hasn't even dropped yet. I think it comes out in half an hour California time, 5 p.m. California time today, March 31st. This is previewing the documentary. So apparently they had a chance to see it. And the headline makes it seem like there's this huge flaw from the Baldoni team that they can't overcome. So I went through it and I read the article, and I'm just not sure even the headline matches what they're alleging is said by the lawyers in the docuseries. There is apparently 2 attorneys that they cite to that I looked them up. They're not even California employment lawyers. They're California lawyers, but not employment lawyers. And they're just saying that in their opinion, they don't think the case is as strong because one of them said, he doesn't flat out deny everything that's happened, just argues that there's more context.
So by the way, like I said, having spoken, I believe it's the same documentary team. They were doing a quick turnaround. Maybe they couldn't get a different lawyer, and maybe the lawyers they got didn't do all of the research. I'm really not sure, but I feel like those that are watching this play out online might know more about it.
Context is everything in a hostile work environment claim. Context is the entire case, frankly. I mean, this is not a quid pro quo case, as we've discussed. This is a hostile work environment claim. So how it was felt objectively, subjectively, and by other people, witnessed, et cetera, that all matters. So this just tells me that they didn't go and find an employment attorney to opine on this. And I think it's a little bit weird to create such a sensational headline out of one attorney's opinion that the maybe one party's case is stronger than the other.
And again, and by the way, great work here by Little Girl Attorney on TikTok. I'm not saying I'm going to watch it. I'm going to look for myself, but this is why, streaming services and corporate media, this is why they can't compete with the internet, because just on the snap of a finger, I can go interview 50 attorneys that have sort of more access and more knowledge. But again, I'm going to hold off my judgment. I'll watch it and we'll come back and learn a little bit more. All right. Up next, we are going to share Elon Musk responding to a taxpayer who's saying, hey, are we going to get those DOGE refund checks? I'll have his answer. Elon Musk feels to me like that stepdad who overpromises to get you to like him. That's what I'm getting. So, of course, they save all of this money by cutting all these programs. They called it fraud, but no one's been charged with any crimes. So it just looks like they were programs, programs that, U.S. farmers were creating peanut butter to send to certain places for food relief, and the food's going spoiled, and, programs of all shapes and sizes. So people say, well, now that you're going to cut these programs, do we, as the taxpayers, get a dividend check? Do we get some in response? Well, hey, it's a good question. I'll take the money. Let's have a listen.
But we know that DOGE has found quite a bit of money, and we would like to see some of that returned to the American people. Do you have any information on when DOGE checks would be written or sent out?
My quick answer is no. The new tax code is going to give more money back to the ultra wealthy. If you make over $1 million, you'll get $36,000 back. Or I should say, will owe $36,000 less than you would have owed in previous tax codes. So no, I don't think you're going to be getting money. I think actually we're going to have $4 trillion of more debt following the new tax rules. But hey, a boy can dream. Let's see what old Uncle Elon has to say.
Sure. Well, I guess we need to be successful at scale. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do. Effectively, as government spending is made more efficient and spending is reduced, the tax by inflation is reduced. So one way or another, you will effectively be better off if resources in the United States are not wasted.
So he says the tax by inflation will go down. So what he's saying is inflation's going to go down, so your money will go further. That's how you'll be better off. Meanwhile, the new tariffs going into place, I believe tomorrow, are supposed to be blanket tariffs up to 25%. So I don't know. Does anyone feel better off? Maybe. I don't know.
Up to the Congress and maybe the president to, as to whether specific checks are cut, but whether a check is cut or not, if you reduce wasteful spending, the economy is going to be better off.
Now, I'm going to do the air jerk off emoji because that's what it feels like he's doing to the audience right now, is air jerking people off. He said, whether specific checks. No, forget specific checks. How about the checks to us? Are we going to get that back? And he says, well, we'll see what the president can do. So it sounds like he was very quick to promise that, and now it looks like under-deliver. Well, the Wisconsin Supreme Court election is going to be bananas. Candidate Susan Crawford annihilates Republican Supreme Court candidate Brad Schimmel. Why is this interesting? Well, there's never been a race that's had more money put into it of this level. Elon Musk is there in Wisconsin, literally giving out checks to get people to make sure they're going to vote in it. He wants Brad Schimmel to win because, well, you'll hear for yourself. Have a listen.
Well, look, Brad Schimmel said that he wanted to be part of Donald Trump's support network. That's a very partisan statement, and that is exactly why Elon Musk is involved here. That and the fact that he's got a Tesla lawsuit going in the state of Wisconsin and thinks it might be good to have some influence over the Wisconsin judiciary. Wow. He's also the one who, when he launched his campaign, immediately said that he was going to nationalize this race and go after the conservative billionaire contributors that he had made ties with as a Republican attorney general. He was out at the inauguration in Washington, D.C. in January, attending these high-ticket, fancy galas. And within days of him coming back, all of a sudden, Elon Musk is tweeting about the race, and Brad Schimmel is bragging about being on his knees, wearing out his knee pads, asking for contributions.
To Jaren's question, though, how is that any different than the...
Well, look...
Wow! Wearing out his knee pads. Oh my God, a lot of references to the good old jerk off happening here. But look, whenever anyone puts money in a race, they're going to want an outcome. Why is Elon Musk so worried about the Wisconsin Supreme Court? As I've said before, I don't think anyone should be so rich where they have the kind of money that they can just spend on any campaign they want. I wish we lived in a world where you couldn't spend that much money. What if we capped it off at as everyone can only donate $50? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be a nice world? We have unlimited bandwidth on YouTube. They're doing public access TV debates. They don't need to have all of this money wasted, all of the money that could go back to people with DOGE checks just being wasted on elections. I mean, they're spending $50 million on a Supreme Court election. That's insane. So what does Elon Musk say? He says any of the people in Congress that vote against Donald Trump, he's going to primary. What does that mean? That means he will spend whatever money he needs to spend to get new people elected and punish those that might go against the president. That's not how democracy works. Democracy doesn't work when we have the richest man in the world from South Africa come here, get a lot of sort of like subsidies, right? His cars. Like, look, I bought a Tesla. I got a $7,500 rebate. Hey, good for me. But at what point is the richest man, does he need to be getting $7,500 discounts on every car he sells? You know, I get it. It was to boost the sales of electric vehicles. It worked, okay? But now he's going to take all of that money that he's made by running these businesses and exploiting that socialized rebate program. He is the biggest welfare queen out there. He is. He has received more money from the government than anybody. And that money he takes and says, if you do not do as the great and mighty executive branch leader, the president says, I will get someone to replace you. I don't think we should be letting that happen, right? Well, here's your final clip here from Susan Crawford to Brad Schimmel. She calls him Elon Schimmel. Have a listen.
Has a very active imagination about this call.
But you
I
don't
did not
dispute
mention
the 50%.
that I am speaking, please.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned that I have never been, I've never taken any position on the congressional maps, and I don't think it's appropriate as a judicial candidate to do so.
Senator Ron Johnson.
I'm sorry, Jen, but you don't dispute that nearly 50% of your donors don't live in this state.
You know, I have support from all over the country, and it is because Elon Schimmel is trying to buy this race, and people are very upset about that, and they are disturbed about that. He is spending over $10 million. That dwarfs the contribution of anybody else in any campaign in Wisconsin history.
Wow. Okay. Oh my God. That's some crazy stuff. So anyway, that race is today. If you're in Wisconsin, you can vote however you want to vote. What will be interesting is to see what comes of it. Will Daddy Elon get his way and be able to meddle in elections, or will the good people of Wisconsin say, no, enough is enough? We don't want that to happen. We'll find out. We're going to find out where the sort of where the barometer is, the compass, the moral compass of this country, in which direction it is heading. Fascinating stuff. I don't know if I'll have that the results by the afternoon, but I'll certainly have it by tomorrow. I believe. I don't really know how the Wisconsin vote tallying works, but when we get the results, we will share them with you. Fascinating stuff. Boy, was this not the craziest episode ever? Just a tea nonstop. I mean, we got people running for Supreme Court. The only good story that we have here, the only good story is Dave Coulier, cancer-free. Cut it out. God bless you, my guy. All right, we'll be back this afternoon. As always, I'm Dave Neal, and this is The Rush.